Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Dr. Sohaili. I'm SITI NURFAIZAH YUSOF and my metric number is 182619. So today I'm going to present my mini proposal entitled Effect of Dried Apricot, or the scientific name is Prunus armenica in type 2 diabetes as a hypoglycemic agent. Here is a brief definition of diabetes mellitus. It is the body's inability to synthesize or respond to hormone insulin, and it is the predisposition of both genetic and environmental factor. And diabetes mellitus is categorized to two types, mainly type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, it is usually present in childhood or adolescence, and it is result from autoimmune response that produce antibody against the insulin secreting cells that lead to insulin insufficiency. In contrast, in type 2 diabetes, which is more common than type 1, the insulin level may remain normal or slightly elevated in the early stage, while in the later stage, the insulin level would go lower. Next. Here is the introduction of the Prunus armenica, or the dried apricot. It is produce an excellent source of vitamin A from beta carotene and vitamin C. And dried apricots are available all year long. And while the fresh one are seasonal and can be imported from New Zealand and Australia. And Prunus armenica has the inhibitory effect on the alpha-glucosidase activity that helps in relieve the symptom of diabetes. Next. There are several modern medication to treat type 2 diabetes, which is sulfonylurea, biguanide, TZD, alpha-glucosidase. Unfortunately, none of them had escaped from adverse effect. So multiple studies is conducted to find the alternative medication to produce a drug that produce the same effect but has lower adverse effect to the patient. And based on the literature review by Fahmida, she said that natural product has potential in diabetes management through alpha amylase and alpha glucosidase inhibition. Just like the previous slide, I said that the apricot has the inhibitory effect on the alpha glucosidase that is used to treat diabetes type 2. And in Q et al. In 2015, the apricot pulp administered intragastrically on rat model, it shows a positive result in lowering blood glucose and body weight. Next. So the objective of my mini project is that to determine the efficiency of Prunus armenica in lowering blood glucose level in type 2 diabetes mellitus, and the second one is to determine the effect of Prunus armenica in normal healthy patient. Next. And my hypothesis is that the blood glucose concentration remain unchanged with the intake of dried apricot, while the alternative one is that the blood glucose concentration reduces with the intake of the dried apricot. And the subject is that the treated group composed of 60 patients with type 2 with the diagnosed type 2 diabetes mellitus with the range of year 39 to 67 years old, and they did not have other interfering health problem, while the control group is composed of 65 individuals with no health issues with the range of 20 to 69 years old. So the methodology is that all subject has their blood withdrawn, and the glucose concentration is measured, and the time is labeled as time O. After the blood is withdrawn, the subject will be consumed 18 grams of the dried apricot, and the second time is labeled as time 30. Time 30 meaning that 30 minutes from the time they consume the apricot. And after the blood withdrawn after the 30 minutes, the patient will later consume another 18 grams of dried apricot. Okay, and then after the consumance of the dried apricot, the blood is later withdrawn and labeled as time 60. Okay, so now now to the expected result is that the glucose concentration is expected to be lower in patient type 2 diabetes, while glucose concentration in the control group or the healthy group will remain unchanged. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.